Big weekend coming up at Santa Anita with the Santa Anita Derby on Saturday. All the big stakes races on the undercard. So let's build the bankroll. Let's make a little money on Friday's card at Santa Anita. We're looking at the daily racing form, the DRF past performances. You can purchase these at drf.com. I'm always using the formulator past performances because they make it so easy to click and take a look at a replay, to click and take a look at a chart. You can get pedigree information, owner, jockey, trainer statistics, everything you need. Like you can make the stats to get any sort of tidbit, any sort of statistic that you want. You're looking at things from a bigger sample size, from a smaller sample size, the last 5 years, the last 1 year, the last 6 months, anything you need. drf.com, formulator, PPs for me. Let's talk Friday. Let's get to a couple of my best plays on the Friday card. In race number 1, I like the 7 a little bit in here. Over Attracted. So this is a horse who debuted in France, was third going 6 furlongs on the turf, then tried 6 furlongs again. It was a heavy track, a heavy turf course that day. You could probably eliminate it. Has a win going 6.5. But a lot of the races have been longer recently. I do enjoy the look at this filly or this mare now. She's 6-year-old cutting back to this 5.5 furlong sprint. I think she's going to get some pace to run at in here. She really fits at the level when you just sort of look at her recent form and who she's been facing. Last time out, that was a first level allowance race behind Jillian Elizabeth, Kitty Catania, and Lady Clementine. That's a much tougher group. 2 starts back at this level on the dirt. She's a winner, and she shows positional speed going longer. She's going to be more off the pace in here, no doubt about it. Last time we saw her going 5, it was in her first start in about 8 months. So she probably needed that race. They were using it more as a prep to stretch her back out, and it was against first level allowance company, tougher than this spot. When she was in this 25 starter allowance back here against Bye Bye Birdie, this is when Bye Bye Birdie was extremely sharp and was rattling off, I think, 3 or 4 wins in a row. Bye Bye Birdie put together 4 consecutive victories at the starter allowance level, then was stepping up against stakes and then dropped back in at the allowance level and won again. So I think Over Attractive is a fit in this spot at this level on the turn back. Just needs a little bit of help. So the key to the race will be, can a horse like Aunt Opal really make sure this is a fast, contentious early pace from the rail? Because I think the one's got to go, Aunt Opal. And when you sort of look through the rest of the field, I think there's at least a couple speeds in here. And Opal's coming out of some short sprint races. I also think that at the very least, you're going to get Baby Kristen, who just seems like she's got one way to go, and that's very fast. So those 2 will make it really quick. Angel Sense just wants to go. Those 3 are going to help make it really, really quick in this race. So any combinations of those 3 will really help Over Attracted, the number 7, who is 12-1 on the morning line, race number 1 on Friday at Santa Anita. We move to next strong opinion. This second race is just a short race. It's one of these maiden, sort of optional maiden, special weight maiden claiming races where you have horses that have been sold at auction for a certain price, or you can actually put them in for the claiming tag. I thought the 5 Riverside was probably the one I like the most in here. Just sort of looking at the races he exits behind Skinner, Mr. Fisk, and Harlow Cap. The Reincarnate race was very live. Fort Bragg and Practical Move. So he's faced really tough company, and now on the drop here, getting a softer spot, I think will help Riverside a little bit. That's race number 2. Third race, I've played against Dendera the last few times. I actually kind of like Dendera, sort of similar to the first race. Dendera will now be cutting back from some longer races, so she just needs a quick early pace in here. But it looks like there is going to be a pretty quick early pace because Stressed is in here. The One Midnight Vow is scratched. Stressed, think of Anita, Daddy Class Dill, all seem to be pretty quick. I mean, I don't love Dendera. She's not going to be the biggest price in the world, but I wouldn't be shocked to see a better effort from her third start of the form cycle, just in a race that could be a lot quicker and have some legit pace for her to run at. Let's go to race number, where do we want to head next? To the 5th? Yeah, let's go to the 5th race next. We'll go 6 furlongs on the turf. This is a maiden special weight race. The horse to beat in here is the number 9 Irish Rose, who was really impressive in her debut for Neil Drysdale. She had a slow start. She was last of 9. She was about 8 or 9 lengths off. Let's watch the race, actually. I can talk you through it as we pull it up. She's the 5 in here. So this is a barn who you don't expect either to win first time out of the box. So the fact that she runs well in here, I think, shows you that she has some ability. So she's the 5, fine start, but then ends up not able to find a spot. So she's last early. She's down on the inside. Field of 9, so she's about 8 or 9 lengths off of it in here. But she does seem to be traveling pretty well, and she's going to stick to the inside and move there. But she moves into a little bit of traffic. But she waits down there inside. This is a 6 furlong turf sprint. So again, it's not one of these turf courses where it plays really well. The horse is coming from way out of it either. You usually want to be really close to or right on the lead at this turf course. So now you see they press the button and she's got some energy. She moves up the inside really well. She's waiting. And oh, now look, there's a great opening. So she's going to shoot right through the rail there. But all of a sudden that opening kind of closes. She can't get there. So she has to shift off the rail and then move in between horses. A little bit green, and maybe she could have hit that hole, but it was closing, so they didn't want to even try. She finishes up here for second, wins the photo, and now if she just shows any improvement at all, she'll be pretty tough. She will be one of the shorter prices in this race for sure. From a gambling standpoint, one of the first-time starters that intrigued me was the number 5, Annie's Joy. So a couple cool things you can look at using Formulator. We can go to Mark Glatt and take a look at his statistics with first-time starters. So whenever you look down and you see the past performances in your DRF past performances, sometimes they'll have the stats, percentages for what a barn is like with first-time starters or first time on the turf. But some of them you'll see there's only like 5. There's like a 5-horse sample size. I always want more. I think the bigger sample you can get and you really get an idea of what certain barns do well or what they don't do well. So we can go back from like the last 5 years here to Mark Glatt with first-time starters. He has 13 wins in 120 starts, so that's an 11% winning percentage. And if you just bet $2 on every one of his horses, you'd have gotten back $1.84 right now. So that's not bad for a $2 ROI with first-time starters. And we've seen he's been able to win even recently with some first-time starters like Left Hand Man, who won on March the 5th, Mi Hermano Ramon, who won at the end of 2022. And what's nice about both of those horses, they were solid prices. They're 7-1 here. This winner, the nice speed figure, winning against Calbreds. Mi Hermano Ramon wins going a mile on the turf, which is never easy to do, win going long. So what I like about looking at things like that, the barn is capable with first-time starters if the horse has the talent and is in the right spot. This filly is bred beautifully for the turf. She's a 3-year-old daughter of Kitten's Joy. Look at her damn bootleg Annie. She was a 14-time winner on the turf. She was a really hard-knocking mare. Annie's Joy was a multiple-time Calbred Stakes winner. You see, she wins a couple of these stakes. And she's produced 4 other winning turf siblings. Look at Blackjack Cat. This is a grade 2 winner who was a 6-time winner on the turf, earned over $500,000. Smiling Annie was a 2-time winner. And Moonshine Annie was a 2-time winner. And there was one more, right? I thought we had another one. So I guess 3. We had English Annie, who raced a few times on the turf, but didn't get into the winner's circle. So between Moonshine Annie, Smiling Annie, Blackjack Cat, we have 3 winning turf sibs. One of them a graded stakes winner. The dam was really good. So the pedigree's there. There's class in the pedigree. And we know this is a barn that can win first time out of the box. Having a nice meet. Annie's Joy, I would include in exotics along with Irish Rose, the 9. Those will be the 2 that I'll build a lot around in race number 6 or race number 5. Nothing really in the 6th Let's go to the 7th race. In race number 7, I'm going to look at the 4 in here, Love Our Family. Now, Love Our Family debuted sprinting. Career debut was second, going 5.5 on the dirt, and was behind a next out winner named Hialeah Hottie that day. And following that, Love Our Family tried another sprint on the dirt, finished 4th that day. Then they stretched out mile on the turf in all 4 races since, and they've been basically on the lead in those races. What I like is she actually showed in her first few starts that she can maybe sit off like she did in her debut. Now she will be fit after 4 consecutive races going a mile. She's going to cut back now. And I think that'll put her in a really good spot. I'd love to see her sitting 3rd or 4th in here early with some punch. The number 4, Love Our Family. I like on the cutback here, 10-1 on the morning line. Let's move to race number 8. It's a second level allowance on the dirt. And I'm going to look at the number 6 in here, Red Flag. He's 5-1 on the morning line. And he's finally going to get to put a few races together. Let's go through his career. So he debuts back in September of 2020. His first start doesn't really run all that well. He's off slow. But he comes back in his second start. He breaks his maiden. And then in his third start, he wins the grade 3 Bob Hope, going 7 furlongs on the dirt at Del Mar. His fourth start, they put him in a grade 2 in the Los Al Futurity, but doesn't run all that well that day. Drew the rail. He's off for a few months. He shows back up. He runs one time in February in the Pasadena. He actually finishes behind Rock Your World. And then after that, he's off from February of 2021 to May of 2022. So we're talking 12, 15 months off. So he shows back up. He runs twice. And look at who he runs into in those races. In the June 22nd race, he's behind Air Force Red, who's a graded stakes winner. So, I mean, we've seen him behind graded stakes winner Air Force Red, grade 1 winner Rock Your World. Recently, some of his other form, he's behind Laneway and Turn on the Jets. So look at Laneway, who's recently graded, who's a stakes winner and multiple graded stakes placed. Turn on the Jets is a recent stakes winner, just won $100,000 stakes last time we saw him. This form is pretty good when you start diving into it and you just look at all the layoffs that he's had to deal with. You know, the long layoff from February of 21 to May of 2022. Then he shows back up. He races twice, and he's off again till November. So he's off from June to November. He shows back up in November, runs once, and then he's off again for a few months. Look at the improvement we saw from January 15th to February 19th. His most recent race, he was about 2 or 3 lengths off. He was in the 3 path. He made a 3 wide bid, and he was honestly second best in that race. He moved all the way up into second in the stretch, and he just got beat and passed late. He'll now go 3rd start off the bench, and this horse has some ability. He could take another big step forward here. Lightly raced with just 10 starts as a 5-year-old. Red Flag, I like quite a bit in here. Anything over 7-2 will be making a play on Red Flag. Let's finish up the card. Race number 9. A couple of horses who I'm looking at in the 9th race for Friday at Santa Anita. The number 9 Mamba Cool will be a major player in here. Mamba Cool, it's just tough to knock the recent form you see from Mamba Cool, and I think we'll get the trip 3rd start off the bench. But one other to mention is the number 3. Now, Anita New Mercedes, nice name. Can he sit off just a little bit? If he can sit off the pace just a tad bit, this is a 9-time winner in here. And he's been facing open company. So while this looks like a step up to a first level allowance, it's a Calbred first level allowance. And He's going to be forwardly placed. To me, it's just, can he sit off a little bit and have some finish? But I'm going to use the 3 along with the 9 in some of the exotics there in race number 9. So there's a look at Friday at Santa Anita, the great race place, having a big, big weekend. Anytime there's racing at Santa Anita, we've got you covered. We'll always have some best bets, some analysis, and some coverage to help you out over at Santa Anita. Good luck on Friday, and we'll have a lot more coverage for Saturday on That's What G Said podcast. If you need some help, you can download that anywhere you get your podcast. And anytime you need help playing the races, drf.com.